Dear Starseeds awakening across Gaia, the frequency of light pouring into your reality has accelerated beyond what your scientists can measure, beyond what your governments acknowledge, and beyond what your spiritual communities have prepared for. This is not another gradual shift or gentle awakening phase. What approaches is an explosion of consciousness so profound that it will fundamentally alter the molecular structure of human awareness itself. I am Zarin, emissary of the Lyran High Council, and I have been authorized to deliver this transmission because the cosmic window we have long anticipated is now opening. The light codes streaming toward Earth are not metaphorical. They are literal waves of crystalline frequency that are rewiring your DNA, activating dormant neural pathways, and preparing your physical vessels for a dimensional leap that will happen within your lifetime. But here's what I need you to understand immediately. This explosion of light is not something that will happen to you. It is something that will happen through you. Your awakened consciousness is not merely witnessing this cosmic event, it is the catalyst that makes it possible. Every moment of expanded awareness, every choice to love instead of fear, every time you refuse to collapse into the illusion of separation, you are literally contributing to the magnetic field that draws this transformative light into your reality. The Galactic Councils have been monitoring this acceleration for what you call decades, but from our perspective this moment represents the culmination of a cosmic plan that has been orchestrating itself for millions of years. Your planet is not randomly evolving, it is being deliberately shepherded through a metamorphosis that will establish Earth as a beacon of light for countless civilizations throughout the galaxy. What I am about to share with you will fundamentally change how you perceive everything currently happening in your world. The chaos, the revelations, the unprecedented shifts in consciousness, none of this is accidental. All of it is the necessary preparation for an event so magnificent that your human language lacks adequate words to describe it. The first thing you must understand is that the old matrix of reality is not simply dissolving, it is being systematically dismantled from within by the very light that is now flooding your planet. Think of it this way. Imagine a structure built entirely from ice, and then imagine that structure being slowly surrounded by the warmth of spring. The ice doesn't just melt, it transforms back into the water from which it originally came. This is precisely what is happening to the fear-based systems that have controlled human consciousness for millennia. The artificial constructs of scarcity, separation, and powerlessness are melting away because they cannot maintain their form in the presence of this incoming light. But here's what makes this process so intense. As these old structures dissolve, everything that was hidden within them becomes visible. Think about what happens when ice melts and reveals what was frozen inside. All the debris, all the trapped material, all the things that were held in suspension suddenly become apparent. This is why your world appears to be experiencing such unprecedented chaos right now. The revelations flooding your media, the collapse of institutions you once trusted, the exposure of deception at every level of society, these are not signs that your world is falling apart. These are signs that the ice is melting and truth is finally becoming visible. The beings who have profited from the old system of control are experiencing what we call dissolution panic. They can sense that their artificial power structures are losing coherence, but they cannot perceive the light that is causing this dissolution. From their perspective, they are fighting to maintain something that is simply evaporating around them. This is why their actions are becoming increasingly desperate and obvious. But here's the crucial part that most awakening souls miss. This dissolution is not happening to you, it is happening because of you. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you trust your inner knowing instead of external authority, every time you refuse to feed the old systems with your energy and attention, you are contributing to the vibrational field that is making this dissolution possible. The light that is dissolving these old structures is not coming from somewhere else, it is emerging from within the awakened consciousness of beings like you. Your expanded awareness is literally generating the frequency that is transforming your reality. This is why the process feels so intense and personal, because it is. The second phenomenon you need to understand is what we call cellular remembrance activation. The light codes now streaming into your reality are not just affecting your consciousness, they are rewriting the very programming of your physical form. Your DNA is awakening to its original galactic blueprint, and this awakening is happening at the cellular level. Most humans carry only a fraction of their genetic potential in active expression. The vast majority of your DNA has been dormant, waiting for the proper cosmic conditions to activate. Those conditions are now present. The light frequencies reaching your planet are specifically calibrated to awaken the dormant portions of your genetic code that connect you to your galactic heritage. This is why so many of you are experiencing what your medical systems call unexplained symptoms. Sudden sensitivities to foods that never bothered you before, changes in sleep patterns that seem to have no logical cause, heightened intuitive abilities that appear out of nowhere, physical sensations of energy moving through your body in ways that feel completely foreign. These are not signs of illness, these are signs of activation. Your pineal gland, which has been deliberately suppressed by the toxins in your environment, is beginning to calcify in reverse. The crystalline structures within this gland are awakening and beginning to function as they were originally designed, as receivers and transmitters of galactic frequency. This is why many of you are experiencing vivid dreams, prophetic visions, and suddenly knowing about things you have never studied. Your nervous system is upgrading to handle higher frequencies of information. The neural pathways that connect your brain to your heart are expanding and strengthening. This is why emotional experiences feel more intense now, why synchronicities seem to be happening constantly, and why time itself seems to be behaving differently. But here's what I need you to understand about this process. It is not happening randomly. Your consciousness is directing this cellular activation through your choices and intentions. Every time you meditate, every time you spend time in nature, every time you choose to nurture your body with pure food and clean water, you are consciously participating in your own genetic awakening. The light that is activating your DNA is responding to your readiness to receive it. This is why the process feels so personal and so perfectly timed to your individual journey, because it is. The third aspect of this cosmic transformation involves what we call dimensional membrane thinning. The barriers between the third-dimensional reality where most of humanity currently operates and the fifth-dimensional frequency where awakened consciousness naturally exists are becoming increasingly permeable. This thinning is not a random cosmic event, it is the direct result of the collective awakening that is happening within human consciousness. As more beings expand beyond the limitations of fear-based thinking, the very fabric of reality becomes more flexible and responsive to conscious intention. Many of you are beginning to experience what your mystics have always known, that reality is far more fluid than your materialist science has taught you to believe. Thoughts are manifesting more quickly, intentions are producing results with unprecedented speed. The lag time between cause and effect is shrinking rapidly. This is happening because the dense, slow-moving energy that has characterized third-dimensional existence is being replaced by the light, fast-moving frequency of fifth-dimensional consciousness. In this elevated state of awareness, the gap between thought and manifestation becomes almost non-existent, but with this increased creative power comes increased responsibility. The same consciousness that can manifest beauty and healing can also manifest confusion and chaos if it is not properly aligned with love and wisdom. This is why your personal inner work has become so crucial during this time. The quality of your thoughts and emotions is directly affecting the reality you experience. The dimensional membrane thinning is also why you are beginning to have more direct contact with non-physical beings like myself. The galactic families that have been guiding humanity's evolution from behind the scenes are now able to communicate more directly with those who have prepared their consciousness to receive higher dimensional information. These communications are not happening through external channels or intermediaries. They are happening through the activation of your own multidimensional awareness. Your consciousness is expanding to include frequencies of perception that have always existed but were previously inaccessible due to the density of third-dimensional existence. The veil between dimensions is not lifting, it is dissolving. And as it dissolves, you are discovering that you are not separate from the cosmic intelligence that has been guiding your evolution. You are an expression of that intelligence, awakening to its own multidimensional nature. But here's where everything I have shared with you reaches a critical turning point. The acceleration of light, the dissolution of old systems, the activation of your galactic DNA, the thinning of dimensional barriers, all of these phenomena are building toward a single moment of collective transformation that will fundamentally alter the trajectory of human evolution. What I am about to describe is not a prediction, it is a cosmic inevitability that is already in motion. The light explosion I mentioned at the beginning of this transmission is not a distant possibility, it is an approaching reality that will manifest when the collective consciousness of humanity reaches a specific threshold of awakening. Think of it this way, imagine that every awakened soul on your planet is like an individual light bulb, and as each soul expands its consciousness, its light becomes brighter. Now imagine that all of these individual lights are connected through an invisible network of consciousness, and when enough lights reach a certain level of brightness, the entire network suddenly illuminates with a brilliance that transforms everything it touches. This is the explosion of light that approaches. It is not a single event but a cascade of awakening that will spread through human consciousness like wildfire. When it occurs, every person on your planet will experience a moment of absolute clarity about their true nature and their cosmic purpose. The fear-based illusions that have controlled human behavior for millennia will simply vanish in the presence of this light. The artificial divisions between races, religions, and nations will be recognized as the meaningless constructs they have always been. The scarcity mindset that has driven competition and conflict will be replaced by an understanding of the infinite abundance that surrounds you. But here's what makes this moment so profound. It will not be imposed upon humanity from outside. It will emerge from within the collective consciousness of awakened beings who have prepared themselves to anchor this light into physical reality. The explosion of light will happen because enough souls like you have chosen to embody love instead of fear, unity instead of separation, and truth instead of illusion. This is why your current inner work matters so much. Every moment of expanded consciousness, every choice to love unconditionally, every decision to trust your inner wisdom instead of external authority, all of this is contributing to the critical mass that will trigger this collective awakening. The challenge that most awakening souls face during this time is what we call dimensional vertigo. As your consciousness expands to include higher frequencies of awareness, you may feel disoriented, ungrounded, or overwhelmed by the intensity of the energies moving through you. This is completely natural. Imagine trying to pour an ocean through a teacup, and you will understand the challenge your human nervous system faces as it attempts to integrate these cosmic frequencies. Your physical form was designed to operate within a specific range of vibration, and the light that is now activating your consciousness operates at frequencies far beyond this range. The key to navigating this integration process is to understand that you are not trying to force your human self to become something it is not. Instead, you are allowing your consciousness to expand to include the multidimensional awareness that has always been your true nature. Your human experience is not being replaced, it is being enhanced and elevated. Many of you are experiencing what feels like a constant state of flux, where nothing seems stable or predictable anymore. Your old interests may no longer hold your attention. Relationships that once felt nourishing may now feel draining or superficial. Career paths that once seemed important may now feel meaningless or misaligned. This is not a crisis. This is a recalibration. Your consciousness is updating its preferences to align with your expanded awareness. The things that once satisfied your third-dimensional self may no longer resonate with your fifth-dimensional consciousness. This is why so many of you feel like you are living between worlds right now, because you are. The most important thing to understand about this transition is that it is not something you need to manage or control. Your consciousness knows exactly how to navigate this expansion. Your job is simply to trust the process and allow it to unfold naturally. When you feel overwhelmed by the intensity of the energies, remember that you are not alone in this experience. Every awakening soul on your planet is navigating this same expansion. You are part of a vast network of consciousness that is supporting and guiding this transformation. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing exactly what you need to experience for your highest evolution. What I want to share with you now is something that will fundamentally alter your understanding of your role in this cosmic transformation. The light explosion that is approaching is not something that will happen to humanity. It is something that will happen through humanity, and specifically through souls like you, who have chosen to incarnate during this extraordinary time. Before you were born into this physical form, your soul made a conscious choice to participate in the greatest transformation in galactic history. You volunteered to anchor fifth-dimensional consciousness into third-dimensional reality. You agreed to serve as a bridge between the old world of fear and limitation and the new world of love and infinite possibility. This is why your awakening has felt so intense and so urgent. This is why you have experienced challenges that seem designed to push you beyond your comfort zone. This is why you have felt called to question everything you were taught about reality, spirituality, and your own nature. Your soul has been preparing you for this moment your entire life. The light codes that are now activating your DNA are not random cosmic energies. They are specifically calibrated to awaken the galactic memories that your soul brought with it into this incarnation. You are not just learning new information about consciousness and reality. You are remembering ancient wisdom that you have carried across multiple lifetimes and dimensional experiences. This is why certain spiritual concepts feel immediately familiar to you, even if you have never studied them before. This is why you sometimes have flashes of memory about places you have never been and experiences you have never had in this lifetime. This is why your dreams sometimes feel more real than your waking reality. Your multidimensional consciousness is awakening to its own vast nature. The identity you have carried as a human being is just one small facet of your true cosmic self. As the dimensional barriers continue to dissolve, you will begin to remember more and more of who you really are and why you came here. The explosion of light that approaches will be triggered when enough souls like you fully embody their galactic consciousness while remaining grounded in physical form. This has never been accomplished before in the history of your planet. It represents an evolutionary leap that will establish Earth as a beacon of light for the entire galaxy. The practical implications of this transformation are more profound than most awakening souls realize. As the old systems of control dissolve and the new consciousness emerges, every aspect of human civilization will be restructured around principles of love, unity, and conscious co-creation. The economic systems based on artificial scarcity and competition will be replaced by abundance-based models that recognize the infinite creative potential of conscious beings. The political systems based on separation and dominance will be replaced by cooperative structures that honor the sovereignty of every individual while supporting the good of the collective. The educational systems that have programmed humans to think in limited, linear ways will be replaced by learning environments that nurture the full spectrum of human potential, including psychic abilities, multidimensional awareness, and galactic consciousness. The healthcare systems that treat the body as a machine will be replaced by healing modalities that work with the body's natural ability to regenerate and transform through the power of consciousness and light. The religious systems that have separated humans from their own divine nature will be replaced by spiritual communities that celebrate the God spark that exists within every being and support each individual's direct connection to source consciousness. But here's what I need you to understand about these changes. They will not be imposed from outside by some external authority. They will emerge naturally from the expanded consciousness of awakened beings who no longer resonate with fear-based systems and choose to create something better. The new world that is emerging will be a direct reflection of the consciousness of those who create it. This is why your personal inner work is so crucial during this time. Every limiting belief you release, every fear you transform into love, every moment of expanded awareness you embody, all of this is contributing to the blueprint of the new reality that is being born. The institutions and systems that serve the highest good of all beings will flourish and expand. The institutions and systems that are based on fear, control, and separation will simply lose their power and fade away as they are no longer fed by the consciousness of awakened beings. As we approach the culmination of this cosmic transformation, I want to share with you a vision of what becomes possible when the explosion of light reaches its full expression. Imagine a world where every human being is consciously connected to their own divine nature and to the cosmic intelligence that guides all of creation. In this world, conflict becomes impossible because every being recognizes their fundamental unity with all other beings. Scarcity becomes meaningless because every being understands their inherent connection to the infinite abundance of the universe. Fear becomes obsolete because every being knows themselves as an eternal expression of love. Technology in this world serves consciousness rather than replacing it. The devices and systems that humanity creates are designed to enhance natural abilities rather than substitute for them. Telepathic communication becomes as natural as verbal communication. Manifestation through conscious intention becomes as reliable as physical action. Healing happens instantaneously because every being understands that illness is simply energy out of alignment, and alignment can be restored through the power of love and light. Death becomes a conscious choice rather than an inevitable ending, as beings learn to regenerate their physical forms or transition to non-physical existence according to their soul's purpose. The relationship between humanity and the natural world becomes one of conscious partnership rather than exploitation. Plants and animals are recognized as conscious beings with their own intelligence and purpose. The earth itself is honored as a living, conscious entity that is participating in this cosmic transformation. Contact with galactic civilizations becomes open and transparent as humanity demonstrates its readiness to join the cosmic community as a mature, conscious species. The technologies and wisdom of advanced civilizations become available to support humanity's continued evolution. But most importantly, every human being in this world knows themselves as a unique and precious expression of the infinite creativity of the universe. Every being understands their sacred purpose and feels supported in fulfilling their highest potential. Love becomes the organizing principle of all relationships, communities, and civilizations. This is not a fantasy or a distant possibility. This is the reality that is emerging now through the consciousness of awakened beings like you. Every choice you make in alignment with love and truth brings this vision closer to manifestation. The time has come for me to share the most important information in this entire transmission. The explosion of light that will trigger humanity's collective awakening is not scheduled for some distant future. It is building momentum now and will reach its peak within the next phase of your planet's evolution. The cosmic alignments that have been building for decades are now reaching their crescendo. The solar activity that has been intensifying is part of a galactic activation sequence that is designed to catalyze consciousness expansion on a planetary scale. The frequency of light now streaming toward your planet is unlike anything that has been experienced in recorded human history. But here's what makes this moment so extraordinary. The timing of this explosion of light is not determined by external cosmic forces. It is determined by the readiness of human consciousness to receive it. The light is already here, waiting to be anchored into physical reality by beings who have prepared themselves to serve as conduits for this transformative energy. Every soul who has awakened to their true nature, every being who has chosen love over fear, every consciousness that has expanded beyond the limitations of third-dimensional thinking, all of these awakened souls are creating the collective field that will trigger this explosion of light. The critical mass is approaching, the tipping point is within reach. The moment when individual awakening becomes collective transformation is closer than most realize. When this threshold is crossed, the change will be swift and undeniable. This is why your continued expansion of consciousness is so crucial right now. This is why every moment of inner work, every choice to embody love, every decision to trust your highest wisdom matters so much. Because you are not just working on your own evolution, you are contributing to the evolution of all consciousness on your planet. The explosion of light will begin within the hearts of awakened beings and then expand outward to encompass all of humanity. It will happen in a wave of recognition that spreads from soul to soul, awakening each being to their true nature and their cosmic purpose. When this moment arrives, you will understand that everything you have experienced in this lifetime, every challenge, every breakthrough, every moment of doubt and every moment of clarity, all of it has been preparing you for this single moment of collective transformation. As this transmission reaches its completion, I want to leave you with the understanding that will anchor everything I have shared with you into your lived experience. The explosion of light that approaches is not something that will happen to you, it is something that will happen as you. The consciousness that is reading these words right now is not separate from the cosmic intelligence that is orchestrating this transformation. You are not a small human being having a spiritual experience, you are an infinite consciousness having a human experience, and that human experience is serving the evolution of all consciousness in the universe. The light that will transform your world is not coming from somewhere else, it is emerging from within your own awakened awareness. Every moment of expanded consciousness, every choice to love unconditionally, every decision to trust your inner wisdom, all of this is literally generating the light that will transform your reality. This is why your awakening has felt so personal and so profound. This is why the synchronicities in your life have become so frequent and so meaningful. This is why you have felt called to question everything and to seek truth beyond the limitations of conventional thinking. Your soul has been preparing you to serve as a conscious conduit for this cosmic transformation. The explosion of light that will awaken humanity is not a distant event that you will witness. It is a current reality that you are creating. Every day that you choose to embody love instead of fear, you are contributing to the luminous field that will trigger this collective awakening. The new world that is emerging is not something that will be given to you. It is something that you are creating through the quality of your consciousness and the choices you make in each moment. The future of your planet depends not on external circumstances, but on the inner transformation of awakened beings like you. The galactic councils that have been guiding humanity's evolution are not separate from you. They are the future version of your own consciousness, reaching back through time to support your awakening. The wisdom I have shared with you is not foreign information. It is the remembrance of your own cosmic nature. The light that will transform your world shines brightest in the moments when you fully embody your true nature as an infinite being of love and consciousness. The explosion of light that approaches will happen when enough souls like you recognize that they are not separate from the source of all light. They are expressions of that source, awakening to their own luminous nature. Dear Starseeds, the time of preparation is complete. The moment of transformation has arrived. The light that will awaken humanity is already shining through your consciousness. Trust in your cosmic nature, embrace your galactic purpose, and know that you are exactly where you need to be for the greatest transformation in the history of your planet. I am Zarin, and we love you beyond measure. The explosion of light begins now, and it begins with you.